Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and here we are to fight CPS. And of course, hang on to your children or get your children back. Yes, that's right. You have encountered a government entity that has somehow impacted your family. It tore my family apart. I'm not a lawyer, but a loving husband and a father who has family torn apart and destroyed, and I've been fighting them for 15 years. I want to share 5 things or 5 rules I've come up with that will help your case. That if I had done those 5 things, I would never have ever had my children trafficked into foster care and one child completely removed. Good morning, Margaret. Not at first, Margaret. What had happened is that in my case, I lost my job through no fault of my own in 2010. Unbeknownst to me, a layperson's, which were my wife's father, mother, her 3 sisters, and her brother, were calling in they were saying things not true about her children. These were my in-laws, my wife's mother, 3 sisters, and brother. And they were fabricating stuff because they've never liked our family from day one. You know, I've known my wife 31 years. And ever since the beginning, the parents didn't like the idea of me marrying her. So they always tried to undermine our family. Well, they took a golden opportunity when I was lost from my job and I was struggling because I had mortgage payments to pay. You know, I had worked for 45 years. I was 60 years old and I was trying to find work at my older age. Meanwhile, CPS was constantly calling me up and visiting me and seeing my home and everything. This went on and nothing that could come up would find things. Because every week there'd be a new complaint from the layperson. You see, any complaint that comes into CPS is thought to be true. You're guilty till you're proven innocent. What happened in my case is after 5 years, they contacted the police. And the police, tracked me down, a detective, and followed me home with my son. And actually, he stopped me on the way back to my son. I was waiting to pick up my wife, and she's left stranded because the policeman insisted I go to my home. I said, why? He would not tell me. And I did not know the law that I didn't have to. I did not know. I could have said either give me a traffic violation or arrest me. I'm not going to my house until I have my attorney present to seek legal advice. And so what happened is that I believed I had to go. So I went, now picking up my wife, and went with my 9-year-old son, drove home. And in my yard were lots of people. There was 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement, 3 social workers, 2 uniformed policemen, and of course the detective. And all of them were looking for something. They could not find something. They searched and searched. Of course, I opened up my home, and they saw the belongings that belonged to my parents, who my dad recently died, and he had asked me to take the belongings and send them to friendly and fans. I'd first put the belongings out on the car apron with a tarp over it, but the association where I live, the private association, says you couldn't do that. So I took the things and put them in my living room. That was the only room that was impacted in the house. So they said because I had the belongings that it was a threat to the children. It was called negligence. That's what the social worker charged me with, negligence. Meanwhile, the detective did his own investigation, turned it to the district attorney, and the district attorney charged me criminally with negligence. Plus, they added 3 counts because I had 3 children of sex charges. They wouldn't tell me what the sex charges were, but I later found out that was a ploy so they could settle for the lesser charge, let the other charges go. So criminally, me and my wife were charged with 3 counts of sex. They didn't tell you what the sex charges were, but they said that inappropriate sex charges, where it is. And then the negligence. 3 counts of negligence, 1 for each of my 3 young children. My older children were not living at the home at the time. They'd grown up. They're out on their own. They have their own families. But my 3 young ones, the 9-year-old, the 12-year-old, and the 15-year-old. And they took them that same day. They weren't in danger. They weren't in imminent danger. But the criminal charges you ask, and I can tell you that, Margaret, were fabricated by the police department. And what it did, it put my CPS case on hold for a year until I negotiated the criminal charges. Meanwhile, that whole year, I took a class in a program in domestic violence that lasted a year. I took parenting classes. My wife and I took parenting classes. And we took and did anything we could do. And we dealt with CPS, but they wouldn't make any decision one way or another because of the criminal charges. So I went to the criminal court, and after a year, I didn't want to have my family exposed any further. So I made a deal with them. I said, if you drop all charges against my wife, I'll accept the 3 counts of negligence. And you drop the sexual charges, in which they did. So the answer to your question, I was never arrested. I was just charged. A letter was sent to me, and I appeared in court. And when I appeared in court, the judge says that you're going to have to post a bond. It was a typical thing where judges don't like men. And I hate to tell you, there's a lot of bad judges out there. And so I had to bail myself out. I was locked up and bailed out the same day in my coat and tie in a holding cell next to a pedophile. So it was a terrible, terrible thing, Margaret. So what I learned If you ever are charged with criminal charges, plead not guilty, which I did, but go to trial and have the jury. And even it drags your family into court and makes your life like hell. It isn't like the hell that I experienced accepting something. Because now I did a criminal back charge and they distorted the charges for me so that I can't work with children. And I have to appeal that decision. So my rule or my thing, I'm telling you all, is that do not do any plea bargain or negotiation. If you're not guilty, then say you're not guilty and go through the process of a jury trial. Now, with CPS, there's no jury trial. It's dependency court, and it's handled by a judge that is elected. But that judge's background has to be an area of family law, juvenile law, dependency law, which it wasn't. That judge that was elected by the public knew all about automobile claims, automobile accidents, and etc. Knew nothing about family reunification, knew nothing about how to work with families, knew nothing about juvenile law or family law or dependency law. And he's running that courtroom. He was a bad judge. And so were all the people in that courtroom. It was a kangaroo court. In fact, the city is a kangaroo city because the police pressed charges that were not valid. And all they wanted to do is try to break me down, they didn't like the idea that in the city I lived, I'm recognized. There's a sidewalk, it has my name in it, honored. And they didn't like that. They don't like celebrities, I guess. I don't think I'm a celebrity. What I did was through the course of my life, and I was recognized for my achievements. But yes, the criminal charges they were, and they were trying to ploy. Because what CPS is going to do if you are found guilty or accepted, they're going to use that against you. And that's what they did. That's what CPS, and they dragged it on for 3 years. And on top of that, when we caught CPS in a lie on the trial, we caught one of the social workers lying. She committed perjury. She retaliated. And what she did is she told our daughter, you're going to emancipate from your parents. That means divorce your parents, your 3 brothers, your 2 sisters, your aunts and uncles and cousins, and your grandparents. All of them are divorced. You're going to change your name. The social worker told her to do that. And then you're going to seal your birth certificate, get a new birth certificate listing your adopted foster care parents as your parents, and a secondary social security card so that she can double dip and take twice as much money for my social security. Twice, illegally. And CPS did this. So the police department and the CPS in my county and in my city can be all charged. But how are you going to fight the government? How do you fight them? I fought just getting my 2 boys back. And it cost all my money. It cost all my money. I had to sell my home, a quick sell of my home, and use that money to pay my attorney. And I hired Vincent Davis, and he got back my 2 boys. But he couldn't get my daughter back because she emancipated, because she was bullied by the social worker. The social worker was so embarrassed in court when she was caught with a lie. And I had a beautiful case, and I still do, against that social worker. But I don't have the money to file a civil lawsuit. I don't. I'm exhausted with money. Right now, I'm struggling. It's the first of the month, bills are due, and I need to get a job. And at my age, it's hard at 75 to not look for work, but to do a job. Now, I had a job, but it petered out because they find out your age. You see, there's age discrimination. There's so much. So I don't want to get off track here, Margaret. But yes, the answer to your question, it was. But it was a bogus charge. It was a charge that wasn't, and I should, to this day, I regret that I did not go to trial. I regret I negotiated with the district attorney. And now Margaret says, I'm facing possible criminal charges. 3 pieces of mail arrived today from criminal address to me and the parents. Now, don't panic, Margaret. It is pretty heavy. But what you can do is you can fight it. If you're not guilty of those criminal charges, don't settle for any less. You're going to have to get an attorney. I had to get an attorney to fight the criminal matter. But because I couldn't pay him very much, he encouraged me to settle. Do not settle for anything. If you're not guilty, fight it to the end. Fight it to the end. There is so much corruptness in government. I was dumbfounded. I'm one of the people that for 75 years believed in government, believed that they could do something to help us all, believed that the police were fair, that they followed their commitment to serve the people. They don't serve the people. They serve their own interests. The child protection system does the same thing, but they make money off you. And maybe the police make money too. I don't know about the kickbacks that are done behind the scenes. But I know that CPS is generating $1 trillion business. That money is sent freely from the federal government to each of the states, and then from the states it goes to all the counties. And there's no questions asked. Right now there's an investigation in Richmond, Kentucky of $1 million gone unaccounted for in the cabinet. They call their CPS system the cabinet. And they've found one guy that embezzled $400,000. He's a CPS employee. But there's a lot of embezzlement going on. There's a lot of money that is given away in bonus and incentives. So it is a big, hard thing. And I thought by me sharing this to you all, don't panic. If you're not guilty, fight it, fight it, fight it. And the same thing goes to CPS. If you're not guilty, fight it, fight it, fight it. But don't talk to CPS. Talk through a lawyer. You need a lawyer like Vincent Davis, somebody that has lots of years of fighting CPS, somebody that is professionally licensed in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. Somebody that even has gone further and done a lawsuit, which Vincent Davis has done numerous lawsuits, both in state and federal court, and won millions of dollars back. So I'm telling you that, Margaret, it is tough out there. Let me see what else so I can catch up. Hi, Delete, Bertelman. I'm sorry. Welcome, Delete. You've been in here before, Bertelman. I forgot where you're at, if you can tell me. I also have a search and seizure order on my property, my vehicle, my purse. Oh, it's getting bad, Margaret. They are really trying to retaliate against you. I do not know. I just became aware that the CPS worker went inside my 5-year-old bedroom, and questioned her with the door shut. They can talk to people long if you're present. But the problem being with children is sometimes they say things and they're twisted around. They're twisted. You cannot try. Again, you have to get an attorney. I quick sell my home. I should have quick sold it the 5 years during my fight with CPS. I should not have tried to hang on. I was paying my mortgage payments. But then when I sold my home to get the money to fund, because I was out of my home on April, it's been so long ago, April 2nd of 2017. My case ended in December 31st, 2017. But I had to have that money. So it was a quick sale. So they depreciated my money by half. Meaning I sold my home for what I paid for. and the mortgage payments were subtracted. I had a first and a second. And so, I got very little, but it did help hire my attorney, and I hired Vincent Davis, who did get my 2 boys back, who did find the social worker in a lie, who did set up a civil lawsuit for perjury. But it's like when I lost my job through no fault of my own, I could have done the same thing. I could have sued the state, because what they did is that I had over $53 million worth of public contracts awarded to me and my company. But they said they could not start the jobs because they needed the money elsewhere. So they wrote me IOUs, which was against the law because it's public funds they're awarded. And so what I did is my owner and he decided that he would not sue them because he didn't want to spend the money it would take to sue them. So we closed our doors. It's fine for him because he has money. He's off. But the employees, including myself, were let go. And at my age, it's hard to do my kind of work. So I was in a domino effect. I found out during that whole process I had a predatory loan, a loan that they bumped up my income, they bumped everything so I could get this home, and I did not know about that. The writing was on the wall. And the entity that had a predatory loan was Countrywide Savings. And Countrywide was bought by Bank America. And I did sue Bank America. That's my bank, and I'm still banking with them, but they paid me chump change for the settlement. They paid me only $5,000, but I beat Bank of America, who had absorbed Countrywide. So for my predatory loan, I got $5,000. But it was a sad state. I went through so much. I have not told anybody a lot of this stuff because this is about helping you guys. I'm on here 15 months, going on 16 months. I'm on twice a day. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time and at 7 o'clock in the evening Pacific Standard Time. And on the weekends, I come on at 8 o'clock. And today, for the first time in all the shows, and you're talking like over 600 shows, I screwed up today. I'm supposed to come on at 8 o'clock this morning. I just realized that. My apology for any of you that had to wait. My apologies. Now, Margaret says, I know you have to sue in the end, Margaret. I know you have to sue in the end. And that is sad. That is sad. Right now, my computer for the past month is not working. And I try to scroll up and it's not. Yeah, I know about my charges being dropped. It was a ploy. It's a ploy. There's nothing that the city would gain by doing what they did. But they didn't like me as a person because I had notoriety in the city. It's funny. When you have notoriety in this world, they come after you. You look at that president of the United States. He's been impeached 3 times. He's been shot 5 times. He had over 100 lawsuits. They were trying to make him not run for president because they're afraid if he was president, he may do a good thing. He's been in the office for 2 weeks. And he's shaking a lot of waves and he's doing a lot of things and people are not liking it. But the majority of the people in the United States elected him, not the delegates, not the representatives. They too voted him, but he was won by the majority of the people because our government's corrupt. That's why he's hired Elon Musk to weed out all the bad government. There's so much bad government going everywhere. It filters all the way down to us where we're fighting it on the trenches. Margaret, we are fighting it on the trenches. I know, Margaret, it still breaks my heart because it's also destroying my marriage. My wife can't take anymore. My two boys that still live at home with me are hearing me all the time do this podcast twice a day. I know it affects them. They have to relive a nightmare. My two boys were hurt physically in foster care. They're hurt mentally and physically. There are a lot of things I haven't discussed with all of you on here. I'm on here because I want to help you not make the same mistakes I made. There are 5 rules. You heard me talk about them. 1, get a lawyer. 2, do your documents in a notebook. 3, say no to social workers and police. Don't let them take your child. 4, research the internet. And 5, make copies of all your documents of your children yourself. But I talk to them in depth on my shows. A complaint is going to be filed with the Department of Health and Human Services. They're going to use all the departments. They had code enforcement. Those 2 code enforcement turned my house upside down, and all they found was missing screws in my gate, and my yard looked like it needed a haircut because I couldn't afford the gardener anymore. Yes, I had a nice lifestyle before CPS came along. I had a $250,000 income. I had a $2 million home in a private neighborhood 1 mile to the beach. I lost it all. They ruined my credit. They've put false reports on my background, so I can't work with children. Me and my wife and 2 boys are struggling right now today. Struggling. What damage they did was terrible. You say, Margaret, you had 3 different judges. The very last one that appeared out of nowhere for the jurisdiction deposition hearing has no dependency or family law experience whatsoever or background in family law. I know. You know what? All of you had elections in November, and you all could have elect a judge. What you need to do is check the background of who you're electing. I mean, it's easy with the President of the United States. He had 4 years. You know what kind of person he was. He has done numerous businesses. He is a businessman. He's not a politician. No one is rubbing his back. Everybody thinks the people try to get on his side or whatever. But yeah, all the wealthy people, all the big high rollers are all trying to get in bed with Donald Trump. Because why? Donald Trump doesn't take any guff from anybody. He's not afraid to tell a spade a spade. He's not afraid to tell the truth. And he's determined to turn our country around. I know we're all in alarm about the tariffs, and we're going to have to worry about prices that may be still staying or going up or whatever. It's all part of effects of a brutal government that's been corrupt for years and years and years. We have a world that is exploding everywhere. We've had natural disasters, fires in California, hurricanes and floods in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida. We've had 2 horrific air crashes. And it's all because of congestion. They're trying to have helicopter flights and commercial jets flying together. And if they're off by a little bit, like the helicopter, the Black Hawk was off 100 feet too high, he collided. The same thing is true. There may have been a mechanical error in Pennsylvania when the jet took off and went straight down and killed, innocent people. It's terrible, but that's all part of the life. You see, we have this thing called the circle of life, illustrated in The Lion King. We are born helpless. We depend on a mother and father to raise us. That's why our children, need a biological mom and a dad. They're the best parents. Yes, some parents make mistakes and they can be corrected. It's not the end of the world. The Child Protection Agency is supposed to be an agency that protects their children from neglect and abuse, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't do reunification, and it makes families' lives hell. They bring in all kinds of accusations. They lie, they cheat, all for money. It's all about money. When you look at a politician, it's all about money. They go with the way the money is until you get a businessman. So I'm hoping that things will change around. We have to see how time goes. But I'd rather be with President Trump and the world it is today. He tells NATO, you need to pay your fair share. He has a working relationship with China, North Korea, and Russia. They respect him. He won't tolerate them, but I'd rather have him in command of our armed forces than have our predecessors or the candidate that wanted to run for president. So I think we're in the right track. It's just that we're in here about CPS. We're here to talk about our cases, our families, and how we can fight to get our kids back and how I can help you. There's lots of ways I can help you. And the internet is full of solutions for your case. And I know it seems impossible to get an attorney. I thought it was, but I sacrificed my home. You know how hard it is to work for 45 years, 60 hours a week to save every nickel and dime? I got that home by myself. I put my 2 children through a private top-line high school. And one of my children ended up on the national football team, number 1, twice during his 4 years. And, I'm a good father. I'm a good husband. But it's hard. It's hard. It is hard when you need help and assistance. And as you get older, I don't feel I'm older. I don't think I'm older. And I need to shave. I'm sorry, it looks like I'm growing a beard. But I really love all you people that come into my room. I really love it. You guys are dynamite. And the thing is, I've also reached out and had worldwide. We've had Sudan yesterday, and then the day before we had Indonesia. So now we're starting to get people from Bangladesh, from India, from Saudi Arabia, from Libya. And in Africa, we're getting Liberia, and we're getting Rwanda and Sudan and Mozambique and 4 provinces in South Africa. And then we go up to Europe. We've had England and Scotland and Wales, all the United Kingdom. And we've had Denmark and Sweden that have come onto my show. And then across the pond, we've had North America. We've had Canada in 4 provinces there, Quebec, South Brunswick, Alberta. Try and think of the ones in there. And then all 50 states, every 50 state I've heard from, all 50 states. Now, I know there's more than 900 CPS agencies, but I've talked to 900 people from every state, some states more than one. Michigan, 4, Ohio, 3, Pennsylvania, 2, Florida, 5. And the common thing you all say is they took my children, or they did this, or they did that. They don't think about reunification. In fact, it was so bad that in 1997, President Clinton signed into law that rewarded the child protection systems money. It's called incentive money to have the children in foster care speed up. They wanted to speed up the process of foster care. See, family unification may take a year because a lot of the programs that parents have to go through are year-long programs. Drug rehab, um, if they do alcohol or pot or something like that, they have to do that thing there. But the parenting classes, some of them are a month, some are 3 months, some are 6 months. It all takes time. So as a general rule, when you're fighting CPS, it's going to take 1 year to get your kids back. Also, they have a bad habit of taking your children when there is no danger for them. That they're not supposed to do that. And again, you guys are faced with the fact you don't have money for an attorney. And if you don't have an attorney, they're going to take advantage of you. I have an attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He is a licensed juvenile family dependency lawyer with over 39 years of fighting CPS. He's also a trial attorney. He also has done civil lawsuits when cases are closed and won millions of dollars, both in state and federal court. He fights in other states, not only in California, but he fights in other states. He's an attorney that you should really think about and somehow afford him. Yes, it's going to be more expensive to go in another state because he's got per diem. He's got air transportation, ground transportation, a hotel, and food. Now, if he works out of his Arcadia office, he doesn't have those things because he can eat at home or he can live at his home or he's got his own car, he can drive around. But when he flies to other places, he needs to rent a car. He needs to fly to pay the airfare. He needs a hotel. And a lot of hotels include food. He isn't going to go living high on the log in expensive hotels or stuff like that. He keeps his expenses to a minimum. In fact, he's one of the few people I know in this world that doesn't collect money like he should. He is so nice to people. He helps out anybody. For instance, right now, he is offering a 15-minute free consultation with him if you are a guest on my show or you call into my phone number. You're a guest on my show or call into my phone number. And I forgot to put my phone number up. But if you're a guest on my show phone number, he will speak to you privately in a Zoom conference for 15 minutes. And people I've talked to says he's not a clock watcher. They've given more than 15 minutes. And a lot of the people he's retained to defend them. He's retained and defended them. So, he is an attorney. I know that he's helping a lot of you. He has cases in Oklahoma. He has cases in Missouri. He has cases all over the place, Northern California and so forth. And I agree with you, Delight. It should be a crime when they rip families. They rip so many families. And it's not only here in the United States. It's in South Africa. I had a woman from South Africa. And they're very poor. They're very low income. And their government's so corrupt. She was in tears. I had another woman from United Kingdom, from England, that was in tears. A mum. They call their mothers mums, M-U-M. And the ladies in South Africa, there's 5 of them. They would go to my show all the time. And they told me horror stories of what men do to children. And so it isn't only in the United States. Corruption is everywhere. I'm really worried about the country of Rwanda because civil war is happening again. And Rwanda's name come up. In 1994, which is I consider modern times, 1 million people were slaughtered. And 500 women were raped. It is horrible that these incidents happen. It's horrible. But CPS is a worldwide problem, and it's a serious problem in the United States. There's no check and balances with CPS. The money goes through and unaccounted for. There's no transparency. That's why you need an attorney to navigate and fight them. But there's also bad attorneys out there. Some of you told me how attorneys ripped you off. One lady said she spent $80,000 and the attorney did nothing. $80,000. You can't fight CPS with a criminal attorney. You cannot fight CPS with a court-appointed attorney. Now, I know the law says that if any time you cannot afford an attorney will be appointed for you. The problem is the CPS hires those attorneys. CPS controls those attorneys. They are starting out, their only background is criminal law, not juvenile law, not family law, not dependency law. They lack those. They also have 30 or more clients, so they don't have time to talk to you outside of the court hearing. The only time my court appointing, I started off with one, would talk to me is when I showed up at court. And then I was told to wait outside. I could never observe what's going on. That is corrupt. That's wrong. Anytime that you're in trouble with CPS, you should be in the courtroom. Now, the criminal matter, I was in the courtroom. But in the CPS matter, no. The only time you came in there is when they want you to sign something or accept something. They orchestrate and play with your life behind the scenes. And you have to trust everything to court-appointed attorneys. That's why you need a real attorney, such as Mr. Davis. Now, I'm not saying you have to hire him, but he's a pit bull of an attorney. He has 39 years of experience, and he will fight for you. So if there's any way you can borrow money from a friend, a relative, inheritances, your life insurance. Did you know you can take a loan against your life insurance? I learned that too. When times are tough, you can loan against your life insurance. You can get credit lines, you can get loans, quick loans, and so forth. There's lots of people that do that. Good morning, and whom I have the pleasure to talking to? Hello? You're live on the air with my podcast. Hello? I'm sorry, who's this?
My name is Michael Carty.
Welcome, Michael. And what part of the world are you from?
California, Riverside.
Okay, you're in Riverside County, one of the bad counties. Oh, my goodness. And what is your CPS case all about? What is your CPS case all about, Michael?
Well, one time I was in prison. I was at the end of a prison sentence, and I got contacted by CPS by the daughter I didn't even know he had. So I ended up doing the DNA test. Come back, she was mine. I get out. I do what I have to do. They eventually give me sole custody of my daughter. And then during that time, I had a relationship with somebody that had two more kids. Okay, when me and her we split up, she wouldn't let me see my kids, so to avoid confrontation in front of the kids, I went to a judge and got granted 50-50 joint custody. Now during that time, she started to act weird. You know, running down the street at 3 a.m. in the morning, screaming she was God with no clothes on.
Who is this?
So
Who is this? Who is this that ran down
my kid's mom?
Your kid's mom. Okay, all right. And now this is the lady that it's your second lady. I mean, your first lady, you had a child, and they did a DNA test, and you got custody of that child. What happened to the first mom? What happened to the first mom?
The mom got deported.
You got to talk. You're talking away from the phone, so you got to. I didn't hear that. Try that again, Michael.
I said they deported her back to Mexico.
Okay, so she had a child. You're the father, and she wanted nothing to do with you when you got through with your incarceration, right?
No, she was deported.
Oh, before you went to prison. Okay, so you.
No, while I was in prison. Deported.
Oh, while you were in prison, you had a child.
Right.
Well, how would you in prison be able to date women in prison?
Well, she was already pregnant before I went.
I'm sorry, what?
But she never told me. She was already pregnant before I went to prison, but she never
told me. Okay. You had a relationship with this girl. She was pregnant. She never told you when you went to prison.
Right.
Okay. And so when she had the child, did she ever tell you the child was born or anything?
No, I was in prison. CPS contacted me.
Okay. Okay. So when you got out of prison, they allowed you to have your child because the mother went back to Mexico.
Well, she got deported, yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you have responsibility without a mother, which is great. And I admire you for doing that. And you owed up to it. It's a child.
And she talked nothing but Spanish.
What, your child?
Yeah, she talked nothing but Spanish when I got her.
Well, that's all right. You two can learn. She can learn English from you, and you can learn Spanish from her. So that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, trickery come in. Okay. Now, with these other two kids, the mom started acting wild. What I do is I go to the CPS office here in town to try to talk to a worker, where they turned me around and told me I couldn't talk to no worker because they didn't have a case with them. And if I had a problem, go dial 911 and call the police department. So I can go do that. What I do is I go by my kid's house every night before I go home. Well, on a certain night, there's cops at the house. I park down the street. I drive up the street and just continue. So the sheriff approached me and asked me who I am. I tell him the whole situation, show him the paperwork that I had 50 on custody of these kids. I kept them in my back pocket like a wallet. So then after that, the first thing he looked at me and tells me was that he's taking my kids' moms to jail. I told him, well, you do what you have to do. You can't have my kids. He said, well, if we give you the kids, how are you going to take them home? I told him I parked my car down the street. He told me to go get my car. When I approached the scene with my car, he motioned for me to hold on. He looked like he was on a cell phone. But when he hung up and came back to my car, he apologized. I'm going to jail. Ain't nobody just go home.
Wait. I missed that part. He came back to the car and he did what to you?
The first thing he said was he started apologizing to me, telling me that my kid's mom wasn't in danger, my kids wasn't in danger, my kid's mom wasn't going to jail, and he told me to go home. So I asked him, can I see my kids? At least let me see them. Come on, I got to pick them up in the morning because that's when my visit started.
Right.
He told me, no, just go home. It was almost 2 in the morning. So I didn't argue with him. I went home. An hour and a half later, after I'm asleep, there's a loud banging in my door. It's my kid's mom. CPS went and took the kids.
Okay.
Okay, they removed the kids. Now, in the paperwork, in the report, when we go to court, they said that they removed them because the first thing that the mom said to them was that she was glad somebody was in her door at 3:30 in the morning because she was in the bathroom fighting with her spirit. Her spirits were telling her to do harm to the kids while they were sleeping. Okay, I got this all in black and white now. Okay, and they removed the kids. Now, when the court comes, I want to know why I can't have them. I got 50-50 on custody from a judge here in Hemet, California.
Okay.
They told me I couldn't. They told me I couldn't have the kids because when I left the relationship, only thinking of myself. That I left my kids with their mom, and with her mental capacity wasn't up to par, or whatever. I told them, look, I barely graduated from high school. I was a football star. I didn't make it. I ended up going to prison. Made mistakes. Okay. They gave me the kids they tell me that my mom was criminal history. Okay, I got a criminal history, but on my report, it has no chance to look wrong to any kid. They just gave me a kid a year before that, but now they tell me I can't have these two. So what they did was they take my people away. They go from I had my kids 4 out of 7 nights unsupervised visits. When they removed them from the mom, they gave me 1 hour supervised visits. But then CPS get mad at me because I'm not cooperating.
Now wait a second. Did you show them the birth certificate that has your name on it?
Yeah, they had all that.
So they know.
You know what? because look, because a person from CPS asked the judge if I could do another DNA test. And why I got to do another DNA test? My name is on the birth certificate and everything. Because my kids were light skinned and I was dark. That was, yeah.
Oh, because sometimes when you have mixed relationships, one gene takes possession over another gene. Yeah, I understand that.
Right. So then they get mad at me. They tell me I won't comply. Comply to what? I had just went and did all these classes and stuff for the girl that they gave me. I wasn't going to do no classes for these kids because I had to work. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. You see what CPS is doing right now. CPS has a general rule. That's what's so bad. In Riverside County, the child protection system is bad. It is so bad there in Riverside that they are labeling you,
and that's why.
And they're making you do all the things. So the only way you can do it, Vincent Davis fights a lot in Riverside. He has lots of cases. He knows the courtrooms in Riverside County. You need an attorney.
Let me tell you,
go ahead.
Look, I can't afford no attorney.
I know that.
On this time right here, I had to give up my job because COVID was out, and you had to do the classes online. So I couldn't do my classes online and drive my truck. I drove trucks.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to. I didn't get fired. I had to put that on the back burner. You know. Now, this is what they do. They wanted my kids so bad. See, they gave them back to the mom. Didn't even tell me. After they removed them, but they feared that the mom was going to do something to them. Gave them back to her. The mom disappears for like 7 years. I'm getting off work. I get a phone call from Child Protective Services in El Centro, California, telling me, asking me, do I know the whereabouts of my 2 kids? And I ain't seen them in all them years. Then I hear the police in the background screaming, "Ma'am, where are your kids?" She said they're with their dad. No, she's lying. What she did was she took my kids, put them in a pop-up trailer, abandoned, by themselves for over 14 days with no food, electricity, nothing. These are babies now.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yes. And they found them in the desert, El Centro.
Wow.
Yeah. So what they do is they take her to the little crazy house. They run the little test on it, and it comes back the same thing that it came back from Riverside. Took her down there. You know what I'm saying? Riverside she didn't finish no classes. I got police reports when she took my kids to a Subway restaurant, started taking off her clothes and threatening to kill everybody in there. I got the police report. And they saying they worried about my violent criminal history. Look, last time I've been locked up was in 2008. This is 2025.
Wow.
You know, so and now them 2 kids, they don't even know who I am. They don't even know who I am. Because the CPS out there, I thought was cool. So when I tell them what I'm telling you, they say, okay, well, we're going to call Riverside. They're going to try to transfer my kids out here. Riverside blocked that. They wanted me to go have a urine test. I went and test for them, and they text me. So they hit me on the email in like 3 days telling me that I need to come do it again because it's nasty.
Okay.
So I go do it again. They lose it again.
What were the results of the second test?
Huh?
What were the results of the second test?
They lost both of them.
What do you mean they lost it? You mean they lost the results?
Yes.
Well, you could take, with your insurance, you could get your own test done because you don't want to trust them. They don't know anything about testing. And they're trying to group you in.
Right, but
you are different. You are a man that has done his time. You made a mistake. And I love football, so I admire you because I know what you are, part of the brotherhood. But I'm telling you, is that they're taking advantage of you, and that is wrong. They're taking advantage of you. You're a man that owes up to your children. Very few men care about their children sometimes, especially if they have to do a DNA test.
And I think that they owe me for the 7 years that my kids were taken from me.
Well, why did you wait 7 years to fight them?
I've been fighting them this whole time.
Well, did you try a court appointed? Did you try a court appointed attorney?
Did I? I don't like it. No. See,
I know, but you can kick them in the seat of pants. You can also say, "I'll sue you if you do not perform. I'll sue you, and I'll report you."
I already made my that's the first thing you have to do. And some lady named Tammy, I can't pronounce the last name.
You don't have to worry about. I don't need the names. I don't need it. The lady was with who? Who was the lady with?
CPSS.
Okay, a lady from CPS said what to you?
She called my phone and she apologized to me. First thing she did, she apologized on behalf of the department, everything.
Well, did you ask the lady? Did you ask the lady? Are you going to make right and have me see my children?
She asked you guys to get out of all this, you know.
I can barely hear you. When you turn your head away from where your microphone is, I don't hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. You need to talk to the mic.
Okay. But yeah, they took my kids and they gave them back to the mom, like the mom could get help. They did that because they didn't want me to have them because they knew I already got my kids out here, man. I was going to get them. So they wanted to get these two. They wanted to get back to the mom because they didn't get them.
Is your phone dying out? Is you losing power?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I don't know. Sometimes I can hear you great, and then sometimes it fades away.
Okay, what about now?
Okay, right now, yeah, I heard that part. Yes.
And that's why I implore you to really be not afraid of the government. I know I got a lawsuit. I know I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
I had a judge give me conditional custody. They didn't give a damn. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So you know, I just did all kinds of little local shows here online and stuff, you know. And I'm trying to go out of clubs, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
I'm at the point of where I'm about to lose control, you know, and I'm not trying to, you know. It's like ain't nobody here, you know.
Yeah.
It's getting longer and longer. My kids are getting older and older.
Right. Would you like, since you called in, you're eligible for a 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. He is a lawyer, a pit bull of a lawyer. He has 39 years of fighting CPS. He's a trial attorney. He's done lawsuits against CPS and won millions of dollars. He's got back thousands of kids. He will talk to you for 15 minutes about your current case and help you navigate and give you advice. And sometimes he's not a clock watcher, but he would help you. You see, by you calling in, you qualify for a 15-minute free consultation with Mr. Davis. And so what I'd like you to do is, if you want me to set that up, all you need to do is the number you called in, you text me your full name, your email, and your phone number. Those 3 things. And then I will get together with my producer, Grace, my show producer, and we'll set up a time for you and Mr. Davis to have a Zoom consultation where he'll talk just to you and just about your case. And you need to make a list of questions ahead of time and prioritize the questions and ask each down, because it'd be the most valuable time, because he knows the law, he knows what you can do, and he knows Riverside County.
Okay.
And so he will help you. He cares. He's a foster kid himself, so he knows. He knows the foster system. He knows the child protection system. He knows about the corruptness at the CPS offices. So he knows about that. He knows how the police are corrupt too at times. Sometimes I think the police, and I hate to say that, are dumb. They're there to protect and to serve, but they also follow stupid orders from CPS. And they also are called by CPS for protection because too many people have hurt CPS workers. So that's why the police are involved. Police only are involved in matters when they have to do a traffic stop or arrest somebody for doing a criminal matter. Domestic violence is a criminal matter, so they will be involved with domestic violence, especially if it gets out of hand. So, Michael, what I want you to do, because I'm running short of my time, and I've actually talked to you and let a lot of people in this room, I've not answered their questions. They have lots of people. I have lots of people every day. But I want you to know that you can call back to me anytime. I'm on twice a day, one time at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, another time at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, except the weekends I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So you can call back and finish your story or anything. All I ask you is you state your name and your location and then refresh your case, and you can continue where you left off, because I want to see how you can be helped now. And that's why it's important that you text me the info so Mr. Davis can help you. Okay? And
I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to sign off to you, but I got to say goodbye to the people on the show. So God bless you, Michael, and thank you so much.
So we'll be talking again.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll be talking again.
Okay, all right. I'll see you, Michael. Okay, to all the listeners out there, I had an interesting call from Michael from Riverside County, California, who has a horrible case. He has a daughter he found out through a DNA test. CPS gave him the daughter. The mother went to Mexico. And then he had a second woman, and then she ended up being crazy. And he had two daughters with her, or two children. I shouldn't say two daughters, two children. But apparently that mother went crazy and took the children away. But anyway, it's a horrible story. He did his time. He did something wrong right after high school and got incarcerated. But he served his time, and he sounds like a good, hardworking man. So thank you, Michael from Riverside. I want to thank Margaret for all the messages you gave me, Margaret from St. Louis, Missouri. I am so sorry you're going through all the situations that you had told me about. Dentalite, a better pen. I'm glad to have you in the room. I know you've been in before, but I forgot where you're from. So if you can tell me where you're from, that would be great. And so, let me see what else. I'm glad you have an attorney, Margaret, but I got to end my show. It's 10 o'clock. So, God bless you all. Thank you, Mark, for calling in. Mike, please call me in tonight. I'll get you on the show. You can be a guest on my show. It's a lot better there. Thank you. Let me see who else. Anybody else? Oh, Philistine from Canada. Thank you for texting in. I really appreciate hearing from you, Philistine. I appreciate that, Mike. I will get you on the show tonight. Call back again tonight. All right, Mike? Anyway, I got to go. So God bless you all. And I want you all to have, try the fight. Don't give up. And you're going to hear a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis. This is Bob Pace.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.